I wanna be Batman, cause everybody really
What's up,
ain't.
everybody? This is mjawwarrior here with mjawwarrior, and I'm bringing you guys my number 4 pick for the top 10 favorite Batman stories of all time. Now, it's not the ones that, you know, I think that are like the best in the world. It's just the ones that I like the most. It's not like I don't like all the other ones. These just happen to be my top 10 favorites. And I'm pretty sure when new ones come out, I'm going to wind up having new top 10 favorites as they come out. I'm really digging the Batman and Robin series. That's really going to be really cool. Even though I'm collecting them in the comic book single issues, I think I'm going to pick it up and trade if the cover is really cool. I'm going to pick it up in, you know, hardcover or softcover. But let's get on with this. Now, this book that I'm bringing up to you right now is sort of like, well, let me just show you it. Batman, A Death in the Family. Man, my lighting sucks in this room. Yeah, if you can see it. Yeah, Death in the Family. Now, this story happens to be my number 4. Now, it really made it really close to number 1 because it's one of my, I'd have to say I like this for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is, this being, like, in the beginning of Batman's career, like, sort of towards the beginning, before Nightfall and all that stuff, towards, Batman Year 1. This happens to be one of the most emotional, parts in Batman's career. One of those big obstacles that really get him going into the fact that, you know, he is just a mortal man. Batman is not a superpowered man. He's not an alien. He's not a mutant. He's a normal man. And he has, you know, normal feelings like everybody else. Yes, he does hide all of his emotions and usually just works with his brain power and all that. But there are certain things that can really get somebody going. And Bruce Wayne, the Death in the Family storyline, that really showed him overcome his obstacles and keep on moving on, doing what is right. Now, Batman could have fucked up and did something horrible and break his most number 1 rule? Yeah, he could have, but he didn't. Well, I kind of just fucked that up for you. But, well, or maybe he did. Oh, you never know, do you? You never know with this one. You never know with this one. But, this storyline basically brings it up to the fact that Batman is nothing but more than a normal man doing abnormal things. Now, this storyline is with Jason Todd. This is the second Robin who dons the Robin attire. Now, Jason Todd has really just grown up to be sort of like a very resentful, really daring, more suicidal kind of a kid. Like, he's doing things that are just very crazy, like fighting criminals that, you know, are way out of his league, and he's just really just doing shit out of the box. He's not doing it professionally. He's just basically doing it with, like, guns blazing, his fucking balls on the wall, you know, whatever, like, I don't give a shit kind of Daredevil crap. And Batman's like, alright, you're getting a little reckless over here, you need to chill the fuck out. And he starts seeing, like, you know what, this kid is, like, really, like, out of control. He goes, you know what, I don't want you being Robin right now. You need to chill out and deal with your own emotions. Well, Jason Todd finds that to be like poppycock. You know, I was going to say bullshit, but, you know, whatever. He winds up finding that to be bullshit, and he goes out into his old neighborhood. He finds a neighbor. She saves some of the old mementos of his family because they were dead. And he sees his birth certificate, and he notices that the name on the birth certificate, her name wasn't, I think it was a G, or was it a C? It was either a C, and it wasn't. It was supposed to be Catherine or something like that, and it wasn't. It's actually a S. And he's like, wait a minute, so the woman I always knew all my life was like a stepmom or something? Like my dad's girlfriend? It wasn't even really my mom? So he goes a berserker. He starts finding women in his dad's phone book, like different women with the name S. He finds, I think, 3. And he starts searching them down. One of which, all of them happen to be, I think, all the way over in, like, the east. Like, in Africa, in the deserts, and, Middle East. Like, over there. He finds one woman, I think it was, one woman was there, and she basically claimed that she did not, birth in Gotham. or in the United States. And the other woman happened to be Lady Shiva. Now, later on, while he's over there, he runs into Batman because Joker escaped from Arkham Asylum, and he goes over there and he's trading like guns and stuff with the terrorists. So Batman's over there too. He runs into Jason Todd and he's helping him find his mom and doing the whole Joker thing. So he's killing two birds with one stone, as that saying goes. And they work together, and they run into Lady Shiva, and he's like, "Are you my mom?" This, that, and the other, and turns out she's not. Then they find this other lady, I think her name was Sheila, or something like that, Haywood, I think it's Sheila. And he runs into her, forgive me if I get the names wrong, but he runs into her, and she happens to be his mom. Now, this is crazy. He starts getting into an emotional, like, you know, getting together with his mom, you know, you're my mom, and starting to get to know each other. Batman leaves them alone. He starts tracking down Joker and doing his own shit, doing Batman things. And turns out that his mom is actually in the pocket of Joker because he's blackmailing her for doing weird operations in Gotham City. He found out that she's doing like weird medical things. I think she was doing abortions to teenager girls over there, but one died during a procedure. I think that's what she was doing. And he was blackmailing her basically to get medical supplies for him and whatever he was doing. So if she didn't, he was gonna rat her out and, you know, screw up her whole licensing crap. He winds up showing up, taking Jason Todd and her to the warehouse. He winds up taking them, and at the meantime, while they're there in the warehouse, she winds up turning her back on Jason Todd, saying, "Ha, I'm working with the Joker all along, ha ha ha. You know, he's gonna blackmail me. I'm sorry, son. You really don't mean that much to me." And you should have seen like the emotion that Jason Todd's like, "Oh, my mom doesn't even like me." Joker winds up beating the shit out of Jason Todd with a crowbar, like kicking his ass, like seriously bludgeoning him to death with a crowbar. Yeah, it was pretty fucking bloody. Like there was a lot of mess. That was the messiest scene I've seen in a comic book. That was pretty brutal. It was really brutal. Winds up getting his ass kicked. His mom really didn't really give a shit. Yeah. And then he winds up turning his back on Sheila, tying her up to the post or whatever, and she's like, "Oh no, I can't believe it. He turned his back on me." Well, yeah, he's a fucking psycho, you freaking bitch. You know what I mean? So she winds up being tied up. Jason Todd, he gets up with the whatever strength he has left, saves her, well, kind of tries to save her, untying her. The bombs explode in that place. They both wind up dying. Batman shows up. He was late to save them. He starts crying with, you know, Jason Todd in his arms, you know, all sad. Winds up having a funeral back in Gotham. Long story short, Batman is fucking sad. Turns out later on, well, I don't want to ruin the ending, but Superman shows up and Batman is about to break his #1 rule. Like, he really wants to murder the Joker. Let me just say one thing. Joker winds up becoming an ambassador. Is that ambassador? An ambassador in the UN for, I think, one of the Middle Eastern countries. He wants to, yeah, and no one can touch him. He becomes an untouchable. Like, you can't touch him because he's part of the UN. And I'm like, wow, can this story get any crazier than this? And, you know, Superman's there to aid Batman. The ending is pretty cool, but that's the story. And I love this story. This story is really cool because it shows how much, like, emotion Batman had when Jason Todd dies, because it affects him a lot. Even throughout all of his other stories. Throughout all of his other, like, Under the Hood, you got, what is it? It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, in a lot of other stories, Batman is always being affected by the fact that he could not save Jason Todd. It's something that fucks with him all the time. It fucks with his emotions, and he'll never get over it. Even when Jason Todd shows up in other storylines, even in the future now, like, it just fucks with him. It messes with him because he could not save him. It affects him just like he could not save his parents. It affects him that he could not save Jason Todd, and he's overcoming it all the time. That's one of my favorites. #4. Yes, I hope you guys liked it. I'm bringing my number 3, 2, and 1 to you soon. So catch you guys later. This is MJawwarrior Reviews. Death in the Family.